Are you a farmer, forest owner, or community gardener in Washington or Kent County, Rhode Island? Do you work with NRCS programs like EQIP, CSP, AMA, or other Farm Bill programs? We want to hear from you. Join us for the local working group meeting on February 22nd from 10:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. at Ludit Library, 274 Victory Highway, West Greenwich, Rhode Island. Your feedback helps shape conservation funding in our community. Register now and take the survey at tinyurl.com/SRICD input. We'll see you there. Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the show. First of all, I just want to say that it is Friday, February 21st, 2025, and if you are a farmer, forest owner, community gardener, any of those things, go check out that community, working group meeting, with the Southern Rhode Island Conservation District tomorrow morning at Ludit Library in West Greenwich. It's going to be a great opportunity for everybody to talk about all of the things that they need to discuss. And that brings me to stuff that we need to discuss, which is my guest for today, one of my favorite guests, somebody who comes on at least once a month, hopefully. And that is the lovely, talented, always informational Beth Markowski-Roop from Service Master by Mason. Beth, how are you?
I'm wonderful, especially after hearing that, Ben. Thanks so much for the compliments this early in the morning. You're starting my day off right. So
you're welcome.
And back at you. The love goes back.
So what's new?
Oh, it's been a busy month. Just the weather's causing a lot of frozen pipes into homes and other concerns, and just a busy time. Plus, how is it already mid-February? Crazy how fast this year. End of February. Yeah. It's flying already. And I know they say, you get older and the days go by faster, but no, the kids are saying it. So I know it's not just me and it has nothing to do with age. So
that's
seems to be going by so fast.
That's at least what we need to tell ourselves, right?
Yeah. The duck race will be here before you know it. So yeah.
There we go. The first sign of spring. So what we're going to talk about pets today, which is great.
I would love to talk about pets
because I got a little girl who was running around here somewhere this morning. Actually, she's probably asleep. Sometimes they have messes. Sometimes they leave odors. Sometimes you need to clean up after them. A lot of times you need to clean up after them. How do we take care of our pets in our home?
That is a great question. So yesterday was National Love Your Pet Day. So showing those pets some love. And our furry friends are part of our family, right? So, we love them. They're our friends. They provide comfort. But like you said, pets are pets. They're curious. They get into things. They shed. There's pet dander. There's a lot of, health and cleaning concerns as well. So I just wanted to share some kind of helpful tips with all of that today, because there's a lot of information on the internet that we always immediately go to, right? We have an issue with our pets, a cleanup need, an odor concern, we immediately Google for what the answer should be, and a lot of what is online is not necessarily accurate, as we all know. So
yes,
yeah. So, if it's on the internet, it must be true. Well, no. So, I wanted to kind of just share some quick tips here today so we can all love our pets and have a nice, clean, safe space. And when an issue does arise, know some quick, easy tips for DIY.
Let's go.
Okay, so first I'm going to talk about is the cleaning, right? Because, the first thing that we always have a need is our pets get extra hair. There's pet dander. There's more skin that they're discarding. There's, all kinds of other little concerns like that. There's accidental spills from litter boxes, puppy potty training. There's, let's face it, our pets are messy. We love them, but they're messy. And sometimes they bring a lot of challenges to keep some of our homes clean. So, some of the stains and messes, require professional help, but there's a lot of tricks that you can do to make things, and pet safe products that are out there and things you can do yourself. So the first thing is, especially now, we've got all of this, sand and salt and wet weather outside. So our pets go outside and they're bringing those muddy paws back in on our carpets and floors. So not always nice. When you have a beautiful clean floor, you just vacuumed your carpets, you just had your carpets cleaned, and all of a sudden you turn around and there's paw print, and a whole line going all across your living room carpet or floors, and you know exactly where your pets just traveled. So I always say, don't panic. You can easily get those stains out, especially when they are the muddy stains that we get a lot of times in the spring or this time of season too. You want to let the dirt first kind of solidified. So you want to have it dry. Everyone immediately says, oh my goodness, it's muddy carpets. I need to clean them up right now. You actually want to let that dirt dry because then it's easier to clean versus if it's a muddy carpet and you try to clean it, you kind of smear it. So where you just had a couple of pet paws, now you got a huge pet area you got to clean up instead. So you first want to let that area completely dry. I know it's frustrating to see the mud on the carpet, but let it dry. Then you want to use your vacuum cleaner. Okay, get your vacuum cleaner out, remove as much of that loose mud as possible. And a lot of times it's going right down to the fibers of the carpet. So you may want to make sure that you're going a little deep. So maybe use some of those carpet attachments over it versus just, kind of going over it just regularly with your vacuum cleaner. So get up as much loose mud as you possibly can. Then you're just going to take a tablespoon of dish soap, preferably Dawn, Blue Dawn, not the scented, not Palmolive, not the other one, but preferably Blue Dawn or any other dish soap, with 2 cups of warm water. That's all you need. So 2 cups warm water, 1 tablespoon of dish soap. You're going to take a dry cloth.
Literally take notes.
See, I'm telling you, these are good tips here today. So you're going to just do, again, 2 cups warm water, 1 tablespoon dish soap, preferably Dawn. You're going to just then apply it to the muddy area with a clean cloth. If you don't have a clean cloth, take an old t-shirt. We always have old t-shirts around. It's springtime, time to clean out those drawers anyway. So you're going to take an old a clean cloth or an old t-shirt, cut it up, and then you're going to use your clean cloth and kind of blot. You don't want to smear, you want to blot as much as you possibly can. And that's going to get up all of that loose mud. It's going to get up all of those muddy areas and get everything nice and clean. Before you let the carpets dry, because again, you're putting a lot of water on your carpets, you want to blot those wet areas as much as possible because all of that water will go down to the root of the fiber, go below it, and it will also go into your carpet pad. And when it goes into your carpet pad, it sits there like a sponge. So even though it might be dry to the touch on top, it's still wet underneath. So you want to blot as much of that excessive water as possible so it's not going under your carpet and into your pad. And then if you just kind of repeat. So if something is a real stubborn stain, add just a little bit of white vinegar to that mix. And that'll be able to get out any of those muddy paw prints that they're leaving on your carpets.
Wow.
See?
Thank you for that. Yeah.
You're welcome. So I have to do that with my kitty cats because one of my kitty cats is like, oh, it's springtime. I'm going to go outside and explore. And I swear he finds every mud puddle possible. And it's like, oh, mud bath, so, I get a day at the spa. And then he comes in and I see the little paw prints everywhere. So it does work. So again, 2 cups warm water, 1 tablespoon dish soap. If it's a really bad stain, add a little bit of white vinegar to the mix.
Love that. Our cat is now older, and also we moved to a main road. So she is now an indoor cat. Because it's too dangerous. So
sure,
we haven't had to do with the mud on the carpet from her, although guests who leave their boots on.
It'll work for that too. So
yeah, absolutely. But she is an older cat and she has been shedding more recently. So there's a lot of hair around when we vacuum the carpets, there's a ton of hair. And also she has arthritis. So it's been she's had more of a difficult time cleaning herself the way that she
Yep.
normally would.
Mhm.
One thing that we got her, and I don't want to turn the camera to show you, but one of the things Jackie is amazing at,
Yeah.
like, she's like a cat whisperer.
Yeah.
She's like, she doesn't like this food, and I'm like, how the hell do you know
Yeah.
what you like? I don't understand it, but
She's one with the
she,
cat.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Uh,
Yeah.
she got this little pad for the door that you attach by Velcro to the bottom of a doorway,
Mhm.
and it's a brush because Mystic hates to be brushed, but she needs to because she was not eating, and then she was throwing up because she had hairballs, fur
Yeah.
balls, and all of this stuff. So we got her this little brush attachment that goes onto the bottom of a cornerway, and
Yeah.
now she can just go and rub up against that and brush herself, and it's been amazing. And again,
That is brilliant.
I don't know how you knew that that was a problem, and then you fixed the problem. Like, yeah. Anyway, so what do you have any tips for hair
I sure
or
do.
fur?
So, yeah, and that is a brilliant, brilliant idea, to be because like you said, I've older cats too, and they stop grooming themselves as much, and you still need to groom them. And there's a lot of shedding going on, especially in the spring and the fall, as the coats are getting thicker and then they're shedding, in the spring for summer. So you get a lot of hair and a lot of dog hair too. So when you do get a lot of pet hair everywhere, obviously regularly brushing or using a tool like that, can help reduce shedding throughout the house, but when pets do shed on your upholstery, on your carpets, you can clean it up with much more than just a vacuum. There's great settings on some of the vacuums, but also, it doesn't always get everything. So a quick method to just kind of quickly, effectively remove pet hair from your upholstery, from your floors, wipe it down with a squeegee. So just use a little window squeegee and you just kind of wipe it down and it scrapes all of that loose air. So great way on your carpet, your floors, your upholstery, just use a squeegee and that will get up and drag all of that hair and then you can just get it right out. Another thing too, if you don't have a squeegee handy, not everybody does, but we all have, especially after the past few years, rubber gloves. Right. So if you do, grab a pair of rubber gloves, damp rubber gloves. So just kind of get a little water on them. And then you can just run the rubber gloves over the upholstery, over the floor, and it will pick up and capture all of that loose hair. And then when you take off the gloves, you want to take them off inside out. So take them off inside out. So that way you're capturing all of the loose hair. You're not taking them off regularly and it's all shaking loose again. So you want to take off your gloves inside out and you just throw them away and you just captured the hair there. If not, you go back to the clean cloth method, which I do a lot with my cats. They have a huge, like 6-foot cat condo, and they shed on it constantly. And unfortunately, when you use a vacuum on that, it doesn't get a lot of the hair out. It'll get, kind of the hair on the sides of the condo, but it certainly doesn't get anything in any of like the circle areas where they lay. It just kind of sits there in all the corners. Well, what do you do? So again, take a clean cloth, just a little damp, a little bit of wetness on it, and then use that clean cloth and go around. It's also helpful in your home if you have stairs, because when you vacuum your stairs that are carpeted, you will tend to get just some of the loose, but it will go right into the seams of the stairs in the back and on the sides. So again, a damp cloth is great for just kind of going over that. I just kind of scrape it with a damp cloth and all of a sudden I get so much hair up. And my husband's like, no, I just vacuum, they're clean. And then I do the cloth method and show him and he's like, okay, go do your thing. So yeah. So again, just some other little tips to get up a lot of that loose hair that just kind of hides in certain spots.
Yeah. Outstanding. So okay, any other because right now I've written down the Dawn dish soap and the blotting and the squeegee or the rubber gloves. And by the way, probably a good tip, always take off rubber gloves inside
Yes,
out like that.
inside out.
No
Yeah,
matter what you're using it for, right? Like,
absolutely.
you don't, if the point of the glove is to stop whatever's on the glove from touching your hands, you need to fold that thing inside out when you take it off so that there's nothing touching you after.
Right.
And yeah, everything gets contained inside. Anyway,
Absolutely.
awesome. What else you got, Beth?
So, one of the challenges with pets is the pet dander, right? So all of that loose like skin that's, coming off. And that's what a lot of people tend to be allergic to. They're not necessarily allergic to the hair, they're allergic to the pet dander. And it comes off constantly, right? We shed skin cells, so do our pets. So 6 out of 10 pet owners are dealing with pet dander in their home. It can irritate allergies, it can irritate asthma. If anyone has autoimmune concerns, the pet dander will aggravate that as well. So there's just some quick things that you can do to prevent that from being an issue in your home. Obviously, just regularly dusting your home, brushing your pets, washing your curtains, where a lot of that will kind of settle your furniture covers. We tend to just go over the furniture, but sometimes you got to wash those furniture covers as well. That can help reduce some of the pet dander in the home. Also, a lot of people will say, well, you know what? I'll replace my carpets with like hard surface floors. That's another way to help. Easier to get all that pet dander up than have it kind of sit in the roots of the carpet. The other thing too is get your air ducts cleaned, because the pet hair, the pet dander will find its way down into your air ducts in your home. So, if you haven't cleaned your air ducts in 2 years as recommended, add it to the list if you're a pet parent, because again, just another way that you can prevent that from becoming an issue.
I've moved into a home before and looked down
Uh-huh.
into the air ducts,
Uh-huh.
and there was pet hair down there,
Yeah,
and we
a
we
lot.
never had a pet, and you know
Right.
what I mean? And the previous tenants had never had a pet, so, like, when was the last time those air ducts were clean? That's
Mhm.
huge.
Yeah. No, it's just, get them done. It's a safety concern, it's a health concern. And if you're a pet parent, you've got all that pet hair, that pet dander just sitting in them, discarded fleas and ticks, all of that's in there too. Get rid of it. Otherwise, especially in the wintertime when, our homes are sealed up, you're just breathing all that in over and over again. So nasty. The other thing too with our pets is there's always some odors, right? Sometimes we go a little nose blind to it. We don't necessarily smell the litter box, as sometimes our guests do, when they walk in the house. So there's always a couple of things that we can do to get rid of those odors, or, also try to get rid of those odors quickly whenever we've got company coming over, maybe the in-laws, that you wouldn't want to have, your home smell for. So there's a couple of quick solution for those. A lot of times people will go and they'll mask it, right? They'll reach for like Febreze, they'll reach for a can of Lysol, they'll, have some candles going, they'll get some of those little, kind of Glade air plugins, and put those by the litter boxes. What is actually recommended is that you do not use those plugins by your litter boxes or in areas where your pets commonly go. They are not healthy for your pets. A lot of those plug-ins actually have chemicals that are coming out of it, which we say, ooh, it smells nice in the room, but those chemicals actually stick to your cat and your dog's fur. And when they groom themselves, they're then licking those chemicals, and those chemicals are not healthy for them to be ingesting. So again, you want to avoid those plug-ins around your, pet litter boxes, around the common areas where the pets go, the pet beds, things like that, because it's simply not healthy. It's masking the odor, it's not getting rid of it, and it's not healthy for your pet to be ingesting those chemicals. So a couple of quick things that you can do. So pet beds, right? So pet beds, especially dog beds, get a little stinky, and can be a little challenge to kind of clean, because your dog wants to lay in them, and again, you can't shove it in your washing machine. So a quick, easy tip to do is Mother Nature's helper. I always say is baking soda. So baking soda cures everything when it comes to stinky odors. So it is Mother Nature's our little helper around the home for so many things. So keeps your fridge nice and smelling nice, your closets, everything, your clothes. But again, it also can help with your pets, and is non-toxic and is a great odor neutralizer. So what we recommend is that when you need to refresh your pet beds, you want to take baking soda and just sprinkle it over the bed. Let it sit for about 15 or 20 minutes. Sometimes you got to, kind of maneuver it around a little bit on the bed to get it into the little crevices and the little, areas and cushions. So you want to get it in there for about 15, 20 minutes. Let it sit and then just vacuum it out. And that will help you eliminate a lot of those odors and make that bed be a little refreshed for your pet. So an easy way to do it there. A lot of times too, people will go, oh, well, I'll get an ozone machine, right? I can get those low dose ozone machines. Well, Ozone has to be in very, very low doses. Otherwise, it can be toxic for your pets and even toxic for us. So, ozone machines are not always the best solution. There are other solutions that you can do. Air purifiers, great solution. But when you're purchasing an air purifier, the tip that you got to look for is one that includes a HEPA. It will be HEPA, and it stands for high efficiency particulate air. So you want to make sure you're getting one with a HEPA filtration system. And these systems will capture all of the finite little debris up to 99.97%. So up to 0.03 microns. And you say, well, what does that matter? Well, mold spores are 3 to 5 microns. You can't see them. But again, if you've got mold spores in the house, a HEPA filter will capture them. Same thing with a lot of that finite pet dander and debris that we really can't see. Or maybe it's blending in because of the color of your pet and their fur. So again, if you have one of those air filtration systems with HEPA, it's going to capture all of that. So that's just another way that you can kind of get rid of a lot of those odors and capture those bad particulates at the same time. And the other little kind of tip to it too is there are HEPA filters out there that you can purchase that actually have UV light, which also addresses any bacterial levels in the air and will eliminate odors. So again, versus an ozone machine, maybe look for an air purifier instead, and even just do simple things like the baking soda. That's always a great, trick to get rid of those smells out of beds and other areas too that your pets always like to lay. So quick tip there.
Well, now I know why there's a container of baking soda next to our little cat area. See,
I have it everywhere. I have it in my closet with all my clothes, get rid of any odors in there. Everyone's like, oh, mothballs. No, mothballs are carcinogenic and they're also fire hazards. So baking soda works better. And again, healthier for you in the home. So.
Wow. Beth, you are a wealth of knowledge and information.
There you go. Yeah.
Any other any other pet tips today?
You know what? Let me just quickly talk about little safety tips. So those are some easy, cleaning tips, right? Because we always have cleaning needs when it comes to our adorable pets. But there's always safety tips as well, because, our pets like to explore. They like to get into things and they like to know what we're doing and being part of it as well. And unfortunately, they can chew on things as well. So they tend to chew on wires, not always good. That can be, a lot of hazards right there. And they also cause over 700 fires in homes across the U.S. every single year. And just from simple things. So, keep pets away from your stoves, especially when it's a busy holiday. You're cooking a lot for, the holidays or Thanksgiving or having a lot of guests over. You want to keep pets away from countertops. If we tend to put our pot holders next to our stove, make sure your cat and your dog is not jumping up on your counters and knocking things into your stove and your cooking equipment as well. Keeping away from space heaters. We all love to, warm up by a space heater, so do our pets. But again, it can cause a lot. There's a lot of safety concerns too, especially when now their hair is getting into that space heater, not meant to be there. So you want to be careful with that too. Keep them away from lamps, keep them away from candles, use battery operated candles versus an actual flame. Because again, they can get knocked over and all of a sudden you've got a fire hazard and issue in your home. You want to use in front of your fireplace, make sure you have like a metal or a tempered glass screen, not just, just kind of a standard screen in front of it. Because again, that can get knocked over and you can have some issues with fireplaces in your home too. Check your electric cords. Because again, I've got a little kitty that loves to chew and we have had to keep him away from the cords and maneuver some things with the cords because he's like, oh, I'm just going to chomp on this. That's great. And the next thing I know, all of a sudden my hair dryer is not working and the cord is completely frayed. So again, that's a fire hazard. Suddenly if I went to plug it in, or a shock hazard. So you want to keep them away from all those cords. And make sure too, you always have working smoke alarms and carbon monoxide detectors in your home, because even a small amount of carbon monoxide is not only fatal for you, but fatal for your pets as well. So Jen, just the basic things too.
Awesome.
Helpful safety tips.
Incredibly helpful. Jay says, good morning, Ben and Beth. Good morning.
Jay?
Wow.
We should ask Jay, are you team cat or team dog? So,
Jay, are you team cat or team dog? I think I know his answer. I think I know his answer.
He's gonna be like both. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
of course. He's gonna sit right on that fence.
yeah.
Uh,
Maybe neutral. Yeah,
I was always team dog. Can't imagine living without my cat
yeah.
now.
Me too.
But
Yeah.
I still
Yep.
love
And when you
dogs.
adopt them and
But
rescue them, they rescue you right back. So the
absolutely.
love that they give you is just forever cherished. So
Yes. So if you're
yeah.
watching this in the Westerly area, go over to the Westerly Animal Shelter. Go check out Stand Up for Animals, and always adopt.
And Stand Up for
Always
Animals
adopt.
has a great comedy fundraising event coming up in early March. So get your tickets for that and provide some support.
There you go, Beth. Beth, you should host your own morning show every day. Um, so you can go to Service Master by Mason to see a full list of everything that you guys do. Other than pet tips, what should people be looking out for as we begin? We have 1 month of winter left, and then heading into the spring. Uh, why should people be calling you?
So right now, I think one of the big concerns are home fires. We're inside, we're using space heaters more, lighting candles more. Trying to, in some cases, doing some alternate heat sources. So just be very careful, very cautious. Make sure you're turning things off, before you go to bed, and don't just turn things off, but unplug them. Especially if it's space heaters, they are not meant to be on for long periods of time. And right now, too, is a challenging time for homeowners with frozen pipes. And people will say, oh, well, it's cold outside. My pipes didn't burst. I'm going to be okay. It's actually right now, the water is freezing in your pipes because it's so cold. So anytime that you have 3 days under 30 degrees, your pipes, like we've had, for this past week here, it's been so cold out. And especially with the wind chill, it's made it even colder. Well, unfortunately, what will happen is the water will freeze in your pipes. And when water freezes, as we all know, it expands. So that's what's happening in your pipes. So you've got this blockage in your pipes with the water that's frozen and expanding, and it's creating this immense pressure. And it's the next time that you have a warm day, which is coming up next week, right? It's going to all of a sudden go back up into the 40s. That's when your pipes will burst. Not necessarily now when it's cold out, as soon as you have a warm day. Because again, you have all that pressure and you have all that expansion going on in your pipes. So that is what's going to lead to the rupture, especially if it's in an unheated areas like basements or attics where temperatures are always, really cold and often below freezing. So there's a couple of quick things that you can do just to prevent that from happening. First of all, you've all heard the tip on the news. They say, let the water run at a little trickle, right? So from time to time, have it trickle. Open up your cabinets to get more hot airflow behind those walls where your plumbing is, where those pipes are. And if it's your basement, you can even just do simple insulation around those pipes. You can use newspaper, you can use, old clothes and blankets. You can even just quickly get some pipe insulation, just go down to the local, hardware store, and get some different things too. So, if you have any cracks, you want to seal up those cracks in any of those holes, especially with your pipes. So if you say, well, I had a little drip, you want to get that quickly fixed and sealed, because again, you're going to have a big rupture behind it and a lot of mess. So, there's just simple things that you can do to prevent challenges. And we have great tips even up on our Facebook page, Service Master by Mason. And we're always putting them on our website as well. But so we're always trying to, educate people, what are the right ways for prevention and just help you so you don't have to call us with 3 feet of water in your basement. We'd love to talk to you, but we just hate it when you have to call us with those circumstances.
We'll
Believe
come.
me,
We'll
feel
do
it.
it. We'll do the job, but don't
Yeah.
if you generally speaking, if you're calling us to do a job, it's a bad day for you. So
Right.
let's prevent that.
Phil Mason, from our office always says people are so happy to see us come, but they're happier to see us leave. So
Yes. Yep, absolutely. Taylor said Beth is the best. You will not find anyone who cares more than her. I agree, Taylor. Beth, you are the best. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it always. Guys, check out servicemasterbymason.com. Check out their socials. Beth does an amazing job with all of that. And the team over there, Phil and Ryan and everybody that works over at Service Master by Mason are just the best of the best. So go check them out. And thank you all for watching. Thank you for being here. Beth, anything else you want to say before we go?
Yeah. So look, we've got some great thing that we're going to do in April for Earth Day. We are going to be partnering with Pure Cleaners. And everyone always has so many of those cloth recycle bags, right? We just collect them everywhere and they sit in our closets and we don't know how we have so many and we never use them all. So there is a great time to purge some of those cloth recycle bags for a good cause. Not only that, but as you're cleaning out your closets and doing some of that spring cleaning, any towels, that you no longer need, any blankets, new or gently used, or you say, look, I've had it for a couple of years. It's time for a new one. Take them out. Pure Cleaners and Service Master by Mason during the month of April. You can drop them off. We are going to get them professionally cleaned, and they are going to be donated to not only pet pantries and rescue centers, in our community, but also many homeless shelters. They're going to be going to domestic violence shelters. We are getting them out to many different charities who can desperately use them for those they serve. So great time for you to purge some of those things. It's all about reduce, reuse, recycle for Earth Day, and we'll have more details on that coming soon.
Awesome. Beth, thank you so much for being here. Always appreciate it. And we will see you soon. Thanks, everybody. Bye for now.
Thank you. Adopt a pet.
Adopt a pet. Do you want to get your business in front of over 100,000 viewers every month? Advertise with 321 and enjoy the best value in local advertising while supporting free community live streams. Your message will be seen across live high school sports, morning shows, and local events, connecting you directly with engaged audiences, boosting your visibility, growing your brand, and helping us keep these broadcasts accessible to everyone for free. Partner with 321 today and watch your business thrive.